Hey everybody. So I'm driving home after going out to get some lunch. It's Saturday, July 5th, 2008. Now, I've got several other videos that I've posted of my experiences on July 4th and how typical they are of an American. And obviously, if you've seen them, you know that I'm being a bit facetious when I say that. But anyway, I was thinking about the idea of nationalism. You know, July 4th is the day that Americans show pride in the fact that they're American. By having parades and fireworks, they're celebrating the independence of the colonies from British rule. July 4th, 1776 is when independence was finally declared and achieved and all of that nifty stuff. But I was actually thinking about the manifestation of that pride, or that national pride. I would say that the general purveyance or demonstration of that is lowest common denominator. Now this is my personal opinion. I'm not saying that in any way that that people demonstrate their national pride is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there are some ways that it is, by being xenophobic, people being ignorant, declaring the superiority of one country for another. It doesn't necessarily have to be American pride. There's nationalistic pride in all different countries around the world. But I think that drinking and shooting off fireworks and waving your nation's flag and espousing the superiority of your particular country over others is lowest common denominator. I would think that if you were truly proud of your country, I would think that if you were truly proud of your nation, then the actions that you would take to demonstrate that pride would be, in a sense, altruistic. You want to show people that you are, or that your country is wonderful. It's a glorious place. Wouldn't a demonstration of kindness or, you know, active pursuit of understanding of somebody else's country be more in line with true pride? Now, the argument can be made depending on how you look at the word pride. Some would say that pride could be seen from a negative perspective, which is all of those ego-driven, self-promoting perspectives where we're the best and you're not as good as us and we're number one. But in my mind, true pride or unaffected pride, un-ego-driven pride, would be to demonstrate the best that your country has to offer through interacting with others. You know, going out of your way on the 4th of July to be the example of what America is. You know, America is supposed to be this embodiment of liberty and justice and acceptance and freedom, which is actually a separate point. I just want to point some stuff out. Number one, democracy isn't American specific. It is an American ideal, but democracy isn't an idea that was invented in America. Liberty is an American ideal, but wasn't invented in America. Justice, freedom, these are all concepts that existed long before America did. Yet, there are people that espouse that these are American traits, that these are concepts of American living. Yes, they are concepts of American living, but they are not American concepts. What I mean is, they were not developed, created, developed, and enriched in America. America has embraced them, has made them a part of her national concept, or her national identity, but they are not strictly American concepts. And yet you've got all of these nationalistic dicks that go democracy and liberty and freedom like some sort of, some sort of hammer. It is our national right, and you want to be American, you must stand by these American ideals. It is not what makes America America. You know? Upholding these ideals are very American, but America itself, which actually, more to the point, America was developed on these ideas. These ideas weren't developed because of America. That's my point. Too many people wave that stuff around like justification. You need to be more like America. Which is also a separate idea. I was thinking about, while going along with that, I was thinking about the idea of the war on terror. George Bush's war on terror. Or I should say the Bush administration, because it's not necessarily all just George Bush. The Bush administration's war on terror. Number one, the idea of a war on an extreme, fearful reaction. Does that make any goddamn sense whatsoever? The war on terror. So you're fighting things that terrorize or terrify people. Number one, doesn't war cause terror? So therefore, by the very tenets of your concept, you gotta fight yourself. The war on terror. I would think that an effective tool for the war on terror is to not fight. Call me crazy. A lot of my ideas will be seen as unpatriotic. And you know what? If your idea of patriotism is blindly following with the government, what the government of the United States, which ignores the voice of the people that live there because the people in power know better. I'm not saying that the average citizen has an idea of when it comes to international policy and international politics. But what I am saying is, when American citizens cry out that this particular war needs to stop, and it doesn't, it's no longer representing the American people. The government is supposed to be a representation of the minds and hearts of the American people, but I don't see that happening. I also think that if the Bush administration truly wants to go and have a war on terror, which means that they're fighting things that terrorize, they should also be sure to put George Bush in Guantanamo Bay because he terrorizes the English language. Enunciation! Enunciation is necessary. I am not an Obama supporter. I'm not an Obama fan. But at least the guy is an orator and can speak clearly and uses words that are actually in the English language when he speaks. You want to know why a large percentage of people love Obama? Because when he opens his mouth, his stupid doesn't show. George Bush is like, the king's new clothes. He wears his stupid and nobody says anything. Seriously. I mean, that's not true. Plenty of people say something, but the people that actually can influence and affect the government as it stands don't. If anything, for the last few months that you're in office, President Bush, get somebody else to talk for you. Please. You've had numerous comments made about the fact that you just do not speak well. You're the President of the United States. I'm sure that you can get somebody to be your official presidential orator. The guy whose job it is to speak for you. Stand behind them when they speak, but they will talk. Because you're an idiot. Seriously. You do not speak well. There you go. 4th of July. Being a true patriot by speaking my mind about the state of the American government as it stands.